There'll be a lot of different variations of squats on your program. Sometimes it'll always be the same, or sometimes it's going to be different depending on where you are in your development, where your strengths and weaknesses are. A squat is a very crucial exercise. It's a compound movement, which means that it'll target different, well, it's a multi-joint movement. So for instance, your hips and your knee joint or whatever. But it also mimics a lot of the daily exercises and daily movements that we have throughout our life on an everyday basis. And also, it's a full body movement. So you're strengthening the entire body. It's hitting different muscle groups all in one. So it's a very crucial exercise. So I'm going to show you different variations, what I'm expecting of you, the movements, what I want you to feel throughout the exercise. So let's go. So the first exercise I'm going to show you, and it's pretty standard when you're setting up for any kind of a squat, is just your body weighted squat. So your technique is very crucial. Okay, so again, be mindful when you're setting it up. Always go through your checklist, because as we start loading weight, you want to avoid injury, obviously. So we're going to start with your body alignment first. Your hips are square, chest nice and tall. You're going to take a deep breath in. Your toes are just pretty much in line with your hips, but you have you can place your feet between a 5 and 20 degree angle. That's pretty much your standard setup. Nice and tall, chest nice and tall. To do a body weighted squat, you're just going to keep your arms out in front, and you're going to focus just straight like ahead of you. Focus on something on the wall or whatever's in front of you, and keep that position focused. As you come down, so you're going to keep your abs nice and tight. Take a deep breath in, and you are going to push back with the glutes. So you're hinging at the hips. Now all my weight is basically on my heels and on the balls of my feet. If I took my shoes off, you should be able to see my toes. They're wiggling. And then from here, I'm going to drive up through the heels and push up through the glutes and nice and tall. So again, you're going to make sure you check your alignment. Chest nice and tall, hands out in front. Take a deep breath in. All my weight is now on my heels. I'm going to hinge back, making sure my spine is in a neutral position. The weight's on my heels and the balls on my feet. I'm going to exhale on the way up and back to starting position. Okay, so this is a plie squat. So you're going to turn your toes out. Your feet are wider than your hip width apart. Obviously, your flexibility is going to come into play as well. So just work within your range of motion and really focus on making the mind-muscle connection, what you're training. So again, you're going to go through your body alignment, chest nice and tall. Your spine's nice and tight in a neutral position. So as you come down, you're going to focus just on a spot on the wall. You're coming down, keeping your upper body nice and tall. Your knees are being pushed out. So again, all the pressure's on my heels and on the balls of my feet. As I come up, I'm going to squeeze my glutes and my inner thigh. So from a side profile, again, my chin's in a neutral stance, my spine's in a neutral position. I'm standing nice and tall. I'm going to take a deep breath in, keeping my chest tall. I'm descending down. My knees are being pushed out. The pressure's on my heels and on the balls of my feet. I'm going to drive up through the heels, keeping my back in a neutral position, and squeeze your glutes on the way up. So you will feel this in your adductors and the glute area. So the next exercise is a SuitCase squat. So like I'm holding on to the kettlebells, you can use dumbbells. Again, your posture is very crucial, so always start with the basic setup. So your chest is your chest is nice and tall, your spine's in a neutral position. My shoulders are retracted back. I'm focusing on a spot right out in front of me. So I'm going to descend down, pushing my glutes back down to the floor. And again, just work within your full range of motion. And my feet are in, well, the pressure's on the balls of my feet and on my heels, so I'm going to drive back up, keeping my stomach nice and tight, chest tall. So the side profile, again, body awareness, body alignment, spine in a neutral position, chest is nice and tall, shoulders retracted back. The pressure is being put on my heels and the balls of my feet. I'm descending down, pushing my glutes back. The pressure again is on my heels and on the balls of my feet. I'm going to drive up through the heels. I'm breathing out on the way up and back to the starting position. And just make sure your chin's in a neutral stance the entire time. And that's it. So this is a goblet squat. You have a choice of using a dumbbell, you could use a barbell, or I prefer the kettlebell. So again, you want to make sure, go through your checklist. That's so crucial. Your technique is everything. So again, chest nice and tall, shoulders retracted back. The weight, I have my heels elevated. So you will feel a bit more pressure on the balls of your toes, but again, your toes should be able to be pulled off. So you're going to stay nice and tall. You're going to take a deep breath in. As you descend down, you are just pushing the glutes back. Pressure is now on my heels and on the balls of my toes. There's a slight pause at the bottom, but I'm not like doing that little butt wink where I'm tilting my hips forward. My hips are still pushed back in a neutral stance. From there, I'm going to exhale and come back up. So side profile, again, go through your checklist. Abs nice and tight, chest nice and tall, shoulders retracted back. The weight is on my heels and on the balls of my feet. And I have a narrow stance in this exercise just so it focuses more on the lower quad development, so outer sweep. So you're pulling down, abs nice and tight. So when I say butt wink, I mean this action. My spine's in a neutral stance, okay? You don't want to over-exaggerate the arch. My spine's neutral, and then drive back up. And I'm looking straight ahead just to support my lower back as well. And that's it.